Try to determine what you'd like to do. If you're in that field and you look forward to going to work every single day, find a mentor that can lead you through a path where you're learning and growing. That would be one. The second would be, if you are not loving your work every day, switch gears. Find something you love, and it's not work.
Hey, welcome to another great episode of the McKinney Momentum Podcast. Today, we have a focus on the education piece of McKinney and what's happening within our great community when it comes to education. We have a guest, Sheila Due, who is the president of the McKinney Education Foundation, and she leads this awesome organization that has provided hundreds of thousands of dollars this year in actual scholarship money to MISD students. Our president, Michael Kowski, interviews Sheila, and you're going to really get a lot out of what's happening right in our own backyards that you may or may not be aware of when it comes to equipping and resourcing students in our community. Let's take a listen together.
Sheila, thanks so much for coming today. Really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. You run the McKinney Education Foundation, which is, I know for you, a huge honor. So talk to me about that. What does it mean to you?
It's a dream come true. When I came to McKinney, first of all, thanks for having me, Mike. I really appreciate this opportunity to share more information about the McKinney Education Foundation. The McKinney Education Foundation means to me so much. What we do for the community is lift up our students, lift up our teachers, and really make it a win-win for all. When we're providing scholarships for students, those are McKinney's next leaders. Our future generation of leaders comes right from MISD.
That's fantastic. I love your spirit, your passion. It comes out immediately. So how did you come into this role?
Kind of by chance. Good question. My husband and I lived in San Antonio. I was the executive director for the Alamo Colleges District Foundation. He works for Toyota. Well, guess what's right up the street here? It's the Toyota headquarters. He was transferred, and the rest is history. Took me a while to decide what I wanted to do, and then I saw the, I guess it was the advertisement for this position, and it really tweaked my interest. I started reaching out to colleagues and friends, and they said, "You'd be great. You should apply." So I applied, and here I am.
Out of curiosity, what was your impression of McKinney before coming into the family here?
When I have lived in North Texas almost my entire adult life. We moved south for a few years, and when we came back, I said, I want to live in McKinney. So it's always been a draw for me. And what McKinney has to offer the community is a small town feel, really feels like it's community. We go to restaurants, we run into people we know. Yeah. Unlike big Dallas, you don't know anybody hardly when you walk in. It is that small town feel with big city access.
Yeah, very well said. So talk to our listeners and our viewers about the origins of MEF. How it came about, and it's kind of its journey.
So MEF opened its doors in 1991. Prior to that is where the concept began. The concept, Lynn Sperry, Pam Sexton, and a few others, were raising money for the junior class to give scholarships to the senior class. And that started really weighing on them. What happens if the next junior class doesn't raise enough money for this senior class? We've got to do something that is sustainable, and opens MEF. Yeah. Few years later, they decide we need an advisor to help our students obtain scholarships beyond MEF. And I can tell you more about that later on in the conversation.
Yeah. So how long have you been in the role so far?
Since September 1.
September. So you have the story down. That's great.
Not quite, but I'm working on it.
So what was your biggest surprise when you joined the team over there?
When I joined the team, there were 4 people in place. There had been some transition, and so the biggest surprise was any CEO's dream is to bring in your own dream team. And so I've been able to fill those positions with rock star people. You know, you're only as good as your best team player or the one that will lift you. And I have a rock star team of 7 people now.
Yeah, well said. So how did you sell, if you had to, MEF to this team that you're building?
You're making a difference.
Yeah.
You have an incredible flexible work schedule. Yeah. We follow the MISD calendar, except we're not off in the summers. So, but we get spring break. And so if you're looking at joining a team and you have a family, you couldn't join a better team than you do at MEF just for the flexibility. Not only the service we are providing for our community at large, but you're joining a team that supports one another and supports the community as well.
Yeah. Remind me, do other cities have something similar to MEF?
That is a great question. There are many education foundations throughout the state of Texas. I will say I've got some pretty big bragging rights. MEF is ranked tied for 2nd in the state.
Great. In what metrics?
Assets.
Yeah.
And we're sitting at about just over $13 million in assets.
Wow. Do you think the public of McKinney knows that?
No, but we're trying to get the information out there.
So we're here to help you do that. So what can you share with the folks who really, this is the first time they're hearing about MEF in such detail. How would you share with them that they can get involved and contribute and be not just financial contributors, but also just with energy and volunteerism and helping support the program?
We have multiple ways. One of the first ways I think people get involved with MEF, and it's the gateway to great things. Yeah. It is helping to review all of the scholarship applications, helping to review all of the applications that teachers submit for classroom grants. These grants really help the teachers with unfunded or underfunded budgetary needs that will create an opportunity for advanced innovation in the classroom. And so those grants can be reviewed by the public. You have to fill out your volunteer form, but that is the first way to get involved.
Great. Is that on your website, those details?
Our website is under construction, but it will be, if it is not already there, it may be transferring over to the new site, so it will be, yes.
Yeah, great to hear. I suspect that you have a board of directors.
Yes, sir.
That helps guide the mission and strategy and so on. Talk about that group and what they mean to you.
The board of directors are the strength of MEF, without question. As a nonprofit executive for almost 30 years, I've worked with many, many boards. This is really the first time where I've seen a board that gets in, rolls up their sleeves, and actually works. We have professionals from the HR area. We have professionals from just civic volunteers. But all in all, they are impassioned with what we do at MEF. It is the best board I've ever worked with.
That's great to hear. We share a good friend on your board, Kip Dixon, a great man, great soul, what a giver. You know, people may not know this, but he was the chairman of our Parks and Recreation Advisory Board for City of McKinney for many years, and his fingerprints are in the physical fabric of McKinney, but now it's great to hear he's giving back and more to the educational side.
He is amazing. He's everywhere. Anytime MEF or MISD needs anything, he's the first person you can call,
Yeah.
and he's there.
Yeah.
He's outstanding.
Sheila, anything else about Kip that you want to share?
I would love to share not only Kip, not only is he an incredible volunteer, he has been nominated in the education space for the Volunteer McKinney Spirit Awards that will be held this evening, and so we will all know. But win or lose, we're all winners when it comes to Kip Dixon.
You know, we need to celebrate those citizens more and more because I think what separates McKinney from many other cities across the area and nation is that volunteer spirit that McKinney residents have and the ability to give back and give their time. I've worked across the country, and this is amazing to see it. So I've had the pleasure of having a lunch with you and Carolyn Brooks recently to talk about the vision for MEF and beyond, and what MEDC can do to help bolster that vision and so on. Talk to me about how Carolyn Brooks and the Brooks family plays into MEF.
So Carolyn Brooks and David, they are not only big financial supporters of MEF, they are both incredible volunteers. Carolyn serves on our board, and she digs in. We are getting ready to host purses for, I think it's the 8th year, and she has introduced a new concept, Mike, that I'm sure you're going to be somewhat familiar with. We are going to do a top model contest this year, raising money for MEF. Thank you, Mike, for agreeing to be one of our top models. We appreciate that.
Luckily, the criteria had nothing to do with looks, so I skated by through my title.
That's right. We'll have 12 volunteers, vote early, vote often, as Sarah Thomas says, and each vote is $1. But that was Carolyn Brooks's concept, and what a concept it is. It's already brought in $10,000. And it hasn't really launched yet, but Carolyn Brooks brings idea, she brings muscle, she brings sweat equity. I can't say enough great things about MEF. MEF is in her heart.
Yeah, well said. One thing I'll share for those folks who don't know how to volunteer or get engaged with the city, sometimes you want to volunteer with a board that has fantastic people on it you can learn. And I think the MEF is a great example of that, to be around people who know how to get stuff done and to learn and get better and sharpen your blade. So I think it's another great selling point for your organization.
Absolutely. Our blade needs to be sharper.
Understood.
But good people, bring them.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch, but you're known by the company you keep.
That's it. Great. So you've been on board for a little bit here. 3 years ago, you were in a different role. So what have you learned about yourself in the past few months? How have you grown as a professional in this new role?
Really learning the nuances of the McKinney Education Foundation and McKinney in general. Trying to determine how much and how fast. Change is hard for everyone, and I see great vision. Good. And so taking MEF in a new direction or following the incredible foundation that has already been built and just building upon it at a pace that makes sense for everyone.
Yeah, well said. I'm rather new to my role as well. I started in October of last year, and we're on similar journeys. We both came into great organizations with great foundations and amazing potential. So it's great to hear that you're kind of embracing that and expanding it. Let's pivot a little bit. One thing I'd like to do is to learn more about what advice you give to young professionals, because my hope is that young professionals are able to glean from these conversations one or two gems they can add to their process, their character, their personality, how they approach work, and get better. So what would you offer to young professionals?
There's a couple things. Try to determine what you'd like to do. if you're in that field and you look forward to going to work every single day, find a mentor that can lead you through a path where you're learning and growing. That would be one. The second would be, if you are not loving your work every day, switch gears. Find something you love, and it's not work.
Yeah. No, that's great advice. Fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about recent wins for MEF. Celebrate. Let's brag about what you guys are doing.
Okay, here we go. The list is long.
Good.
But what I will tell you, a couple things. This year, on May 1st, we will host our annual scholarship celebration. For the first time ever, we will award over $825,000 in scholarships to nearly 400 kids. That's a big win. That is a big win. Second, over the course of MEF and bringing on the high school college advisors, MEF has awarded over 7,000 students a scholarship to the tune of over $10 million. That's a win in and of itself. But what's even bigger, our high school college advisors, since they were incepted, now get ready, they have helped students, MISD students, be awarded and accept over $250 million in external scholarships. Now, I want to be clear, that's not money that runs through MEF. That is a direct scholarship to a student, but potentially not happening unless one of our high school college advisors were in the mix. So I want to celebrate them. They are our true heroes.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That is truly amazing, and congratulations to you and your board and all the volunteers, past, present, and future, hopefully, to make that happen.
Right.
Those numbers are incredible. We need to shout that from the mountaintops.
Yes, we do.
That's great. Good for you. That's fantastic. Let's talk about what's next for MEF. So I know you're looking like a CEO. You're thinking 5 years out, 10 years out.
Mm-hmm.
What can you share with us today about where you see the organization going in the near future?
So we are working now on creating extreme operational efficiencies. Beyond that, we are looking at building our base of volunteers, both deep and wide, but we're also looking at building our donor base, both deep and wide. McKinney is full of alumni from MISD. It is our responsibility to give them opportunities to pay it forward. It is our responsibility to invite them to volunteer. That will become huge. And beyond that, really ensuring that when a student applies for a scholarship, we are able to respond, not leave half of them on the shelf. That's not acceptable. It's not acceptable for MEF. It's not acceptable for Sheila. And it's not acceptable for this community.
Yeah, beautiful words. I have maybe an odd question here. Do the students appreciate all the work that you and your team do?
I don't think they know.
That's right.
I don't think they know. So this comes back to communication and communicating in such a way that every level understands, from the student level to the grandparent level. They have to understand what the value is that MEF brings to the table.
Well, McKinney is blessed to have you in the seat you're in, because you've articulated perfectly the value, the potential, and what needs to happen to grow it. So well done.
Thank you.
Just truly fantastic.
Thank you.
McKinney's better for it.
I am so happy to be here. It is, it is a dream job. It's a dream community. It's come full circle for me, and I really appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you so much. So before we wrap up, I'd love to allow our guests with us to learn more about you as a person.
Okay.
And so we like to do something called rapid fire.
Let's go.
I'm going to ask you questions quick. Give me the answer back. What's your bucket list travel destination?
Iceland, and we're going next year.
Oh, good. Well,
Yes.
there you go. So what was your first job?
Get ready. Dairy Queen, the Texas stop sign.
Oh, that's great. Classic. What's the best meal you ever ate?
Oh, geez, there's so many. I am a foodie by nature. And so locally, I can fire off a couple. Fontina's eggplant parmesan. I love the beet and arugula salad at Rick's. I always put salmon on it. And new place, Lockwood Distillery, they have the best chicken fingers. Believe it or not, they're outstanding. So those are top 3 for McKinney.
Well, I think that's a great way to end our segment here. You got a plug for some great spots in McKinney. You did a wonderful job, being a champion for MEF. We're so blessed to have you in the McKinney family and looking forward to many years of partnership.
Back at you. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sheila.
All
Thank you.
right.
I hope that you enjoyed listening to that episode as much as I enjoyed sitting in the room when it was recorded. Sheila is just such a wealth of knowledge, not only about her organization and the team that she leads, but also just filled with passion for the students that she's helping and that she's resourcing for our future. And it was great even to talk about her favorite foods. I'm going to go try those chicken fingers. I'm a big chicken finger fan. And just loved having her on. I thought there was a lot of great wisdom in there. If you would like to see more information like this, we're going to be doing some more education-focused pieces here on McKinney Momentum. We'd love for you to like, subscribe, follow on YouTube, and whatever audio podcast platform you listen on. We're everywhere on the internet, McKinney Momentum. We'd love for you to join in, be a part, and stay tuned with what's going on right here in the beautiful town of McKinney. We hope you stay tuned.